Hi guys.
Hello.
Welcome back to another episode of On to
Reddit.
Nothing Reddit Stories.
We're here and we're back and we're better than ever.
And this is Am I the Asshole themed.
It is.
So let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Okay. The title of the first story is Am I the asshole for letting daycare call CPS when my soon-to-be ex-husband failed to pick up our toddler from daycare? We're in a trial separation. He wants half custody. It's been several months, and it was the 8th time daycare has called me because he was unable to pick up our toddler. Sometimes he was just a no-show, and the daycare would call me because it's already been half an hour since their official close time. Every time, the daycare is pissed at me for making them stay overtime, and we're charged $2 per minute for being late. They threaten to call authorities and CPS if we keep doing this. I tried to explain the problem, but daycare doesn't care, as they shouldn't. Well, last week it happened again, and I told daycare to go ahead and call the authorities and CPS. My soon-to-be ex-husband showed up an hour late and met our toddler there with the cops. Daycare also threatened to kick our toddler out. Again, understandably so. My soon-to-be ex-husband was so mad and said I was a cruel mother for abandoning our toddler. I told him I warned him multiple times in the past, and issues only arise when he has custody. We switch with each week, trialing house swap too. I told him repeatedly if he cannot get out of work reliably, he needs to hire a babysitter and a nanny, and he cannot rely on me as his primary backup. I'd get it if it was like once or twice a year, or if the babysitter plans fell through, but if I'm his ex-wife and he has custody, he shouldn't depend on me as his primary backup. And I also felt bad about leaving our toddler, but if we separated, this would only keep happening, and I felt short-term pain might be worth the long-term gain. I feel bad our toddler is caught in the middle, but was I the asshole for letting daycare call CPS? Relevant details were both high-paying jobs, but I intentionally do not schedule myself to work late on days I have him or I have a nanny ready. Now, with the trial separation, I have cut down to half time. I work half days on the days I have our toddler so I can spend time with him, and work long days on days I'm child free. He has made no changes in his schedule. Dumb as hell, this guy. You're not the asshole, obviously. Like, he needs to be a responsible parent. And it's always falling on the woman. It's always falling on the mom. The mom's always, like, the one abandoning the toddler when you're the one abandoning the toddler.
It's your day.
What do you mean?
Abandoning him
because
where?
He wasn't able to pick him up, so he's like, oh my God, you didn't pick him up because I failed to pick him up? Who's the one abandoning him? You.
You're the one who wants half custody, boy.
Why do you want half custody if you can't even fucking take control and be like, just hire someone? $2 a minute is crazy. I mean, I would do that too.
$2 per minute?
I
thought
would do
that
that
per
too.
hour.
No,
holy
minute.
Fucking shit, brother. Why not just say?
And yeah, like I totally. That makes sense. I would also be fucking calling CPS if this guy is just leaving his child.
Why don't they just say $120?
Well, because it's per minute that they don't pick him up. So if it's like 75 minutes, they charge them $2 per minute of 75.
Yeah, but that's the same thing as charging $120 an hour. If it's half an hour, it's $60.
Yeah, but what if it's 43 minutes that he's late?
Wait.
We're talking in minutes because if
contract it, then you make it 2. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, what? If he's like
2 minutes, they're charging them $2 for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Also, get a new daycare place.
No, because
what
after so many times of someone being late, I would be doing the same thing. I'd be charging $10 per minute. Like, bitch, be on time to pick up your kid.
But also, stuff happens, but not this often.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, it's fine if it's a couple times, but it's all the time.
Yeah.
And you can't be relying on the daycare to always be staying open. Like, they also have lives.
The daycare being mad at her for making them stay overtime is crazy.
Be mad at the dad.
Yeah, be mad at the literal person who is half of the child. Like, why is it always fall on the mom?
Because the mom's always expected to be the more responsible one, the primary parent. They're always they're
Right.
always supposed to be the more
It's
responsible
so
one.
frustrating.
And it's so annoying because dads get out of everything and then they're praised for one little tiny thing, like
right.
fucking
wow,
being
you're
on time. Like,
such
oh my
a
God, you're such a
present
great
father,
dad. I
'cause
can't believe you're pushing your kid in a stroller.
Yeah. Oh wow, you brought you know your kid's health history.
It's crazy. Like even like me growing up, if I
Yeah.
would see a dad with his kids by himself, I would genuinely think in my head like, wow, that's such a good dad.
Yeah.
And then I'm like getting older and I'm like, that's
Yeah.
just a fucking dad.
Yeah. Girl.
But like it's so hard to like, you don't see that often because it's
Right.
always the mom that's supposed to be the primary person and the responsible one. And it's like the dad fucking gets off the hook for everything. But imagine the fucking hell that would be raised if it was the woman that was not picking up their child.
Hell no.
She would be burned at the stake.
Right.
She would literally be burned at the stake. Okay, the top comment says, not the asshole. If he wants to share custody, he needs to do the work half the time or deal with the consequences like an adult. And then someone said, can't play weekend dad and expect full credit parenting. Share the kid, share the responsibility, or don't bother.
Literally.
Exactly. But if he's like this, the chances are he's only insisting on shared custody to get out of paying child support.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, yeah. And
that's the only reason why men fight for their children. Not the only reason, but like
90%.
Most of the time.
90%.
That's the
of
only
men.
reason why. It's because they're like, oh, we'll do shared custody, but I'll just have them on the weekend.
Uh-huh.
On the weekend?
Then you're paying. My dad had us on the weekends every other weekend and every Thursday, and he still paid child support.
Well, good. As they should.
Because he should. Yeah, my mom's fucking single mother making $12 an hour, and she has us majority of the time.
Right.
He should have paid more, if I'm being honest.
I
But
think
my
they
mom was
should
a
have
nice
to
woman.
pay their entire salary to women
No, same.
for having their baby.
Mhm.
Forever.
Half their salary at least.
And they can live in the basement, chained up.
No, seriously.
No, actually, though. Fuck that.
Oh, God.
Men
I
are
can't.
so stupid.
This person said, yep, that's what I think is going on. I used to babysit for a couple whose marriage ended in divorce. The wife was good, paid me on time, and tried to create a consistent, loving environment for her kids. The husband seemed to want to do his best at first, but he was hardly there because he worked nights, so most of the work of raising their kids and managing their household was left to the wife, who had to work long hours to keep things going. It was such a tough job. Their kids were higher needs and were acting out, especially after things went south for their parents' marriage. The wife let me know when they were separating and divorcing, and that I had to be paid separately depending on who had custody time. That was its own nightmare. And then she warned me that her ex was going for 50-50 and would likely ask me to be a full-time nanny for him because she knew he wouldn't be able to actually be there for his parenting time. 50-50 just so he didn't have to pay more child support. I'm not saying he didn't love his kids. He did, but it was 100% because he didn't want to pay more support.
Yeah, because men don't think that they should have to.
Mm-mm.
They're like, well, it's your kid too.
Mm-hmm. And I feel I feel like because it's like the mother, they're just like, well, you're the mom. Like you know, like
You're the sperm donor.
yeah, like
What are you talking about,
you should
brother?
be doing more work because I just fucking grew this child from scratch. I made this child from scratch.
All you
and
did was
birthed
give me
it.
a little sprinkle.
Yeah, you did a sprinkle.
You did
You didn't do anything. All
nothing.
you did was get pleasure.
Literally.
Like,
and all I got was pain.
And all I got was fucking pain.
And I'm
9
still
months of it.
having
And then whatever the birth was. And then you should be fucking picking up some slack after that.
Yes.
I just had to do 100% of the creation. You get to do 75%
100% of the taking care of.
And I'll do the fun
Literally.
parts. Like, if I was a stay-at-home mom, I would 100% be like, when you're done with work, it's your time for the kids.
Yeah, the least you can do is
Take care
give
of
them a
them
bath
after work.
and like put them to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Because
you know that your kids like, but when they're little, they go to bed at like 7. It's like you get 2 hours. Okay,
Girl,
2
I'm
hours with
setting
them after
all
work.
my clocks forward. They get to go to bed at 1 p.m.
Well, they'll have a nap at 1
I
p.m.
know.
But my kids are gonna be like, they're gonna have strict naps. They're gonna be napping
Yeah.
at the same time every day, and they better fucking nap. And if they don't, they're gonna have a second nap. Otherwise, they're cranky and
I just
annoying.
love how I just feel like skip the nap, go to bed early.
Go to bed at 3 p.m.
Yes.
And
Why?
But then they wake up at like 3 a.m. And
Stay
I don't
in
want to get
there.
up at 3 a.m.
Locked in.
Not really. She's joking. She's not actually going to lock her kids.
I was locked up.
Girl, what?
I was locked in.
That's fucking abuse.
Well, not as like, as soon as I was able to move my legs and walk.
What, you were
my
chained
parents
to your
said,
crib?
Lock the door. Lock her in.
No, when I babysat, they locked one of the kids in the room, but that's because he would always come out and like wake the other kids up in the middle of the night. But like,
Me.
not if you better have a baby monitor, and when the baby like is crying, you have to go in and like take care of it.
I wasn't just
But yeah,
left in there weeping by myself. Like I would go to bed and they put a baby gate up. I climbed over it at like 1.5 years old.
Oh my god!
And then they put 2 on top of each other, climbed over it.
Oh, that's
so.
scary.
My parents said, "Okay, we'll just lock the door. We'll just lock her in.
Yeah,
Just keep her in."
I wonder what like because what's like why wouldn't people lock the door?
A fire? I don't know.
I'm unlocking it and coming in. Like the baby's not coming. Like the baby's not gonna be able to.
I don't
Right?
know.
Like I don't know. I feel like I've heard things that's like not good about like locking your kid in.
They need to be locked up.
But like if this
Chained.
little 1-year-old was a menace and he would literally go and wake everyone up in the middle of the night. So
Yeah.
like you should be locked in, right?
Yeah, I feel like if you have a baby monitor.
As long as you have a baby monitor.
My parents actually cut a hole in my door and made it into a little window.
Wait, that's a great idea.
And they were like,
that's a great
yeah,
idea.
it was
But
great
how
until
did
I
you
was
not
like
climb up there?
13 because it was like this big. It was just a viewing window.
Oh my god, I love
Also, can't climb a door really.
that. I know,
But a baby gate
God
has
knows
like
you would've figured
footholes.
it out. Yeah, that's
I'm jumping up.
Dude, that's crazy. Well, I hope we
Anyway.
don't get canceled for locking babies away.
Well, we don't have babies. So I'm sure by the time that we have babies, we won't be locking them up.
Why?
Because we'll feel differently because we'll have the baby by then.
No, yeah, that's
You
true.
know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
right now I'm like, throw it. Throw it somewhere. I don't
Not
know.
throw
It's not real. I don't have it. I don't have it. It's not a
Dude,
real.
God knows I'm never gonna even let my kid have its own room because I'm gonna be so
Oh,
stressed.
same.
I think literally
She'll be in my bed.
I told Sam this the the other week that every single time I have a candle on, I think that my cats are somewhere lit on fire, like that they're just like on fire somewhere.
And they're not making a noise.
they're just not.
They're just
like they're dying. Fucking like I'm constant. I think I have like something like maybe I don't know. I always self-diagnose myself like
Same.
OCD, like intrusive thoughts.
Yeah.
And, like I'm always thinking something bad. Like I'm
I
always
do the same
every
thing,
time I
yeah.
can't find one of my cats, I'm thinking like a very specific scenario of them dying somehow. I'm like, oh, they're probably being crushed by like the closet is like crushed on them right now and they're like dying and they can't get out. Or yesterday I like unboxed a bunch of stuff and I had a bunch of plastic and Poppy loves plastic. So I couldn't find Poppy for a couple of hours. I was like, oh, so she's probably under the bed suffocating because she took the plastic and her head stuck in it and she's
I
like
can't that
suffocated.
you think they won't make one noise.
I know. And then I thought that I was like, no, she'd be crying, right?
She'd literally be like,
She'd be like,
yeah,
or
like
she'd be like,
screaming.
because sometimes Willa will like with the is it the Whole Foods bags? They have like the cord on the bag, on the
Yeah,
paper bag.
yeah.
She'll get her neck twisted in it, where it's
Girl.
like literally cutting off her circulation and
she
she's
makes a
running
piece-
everywhere.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
crazy. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
They're not just gonna catch on fire and be like,
Bye. Like, see you later. No, I literally
or
always
touch the plastic and go, okay.
okay, not night.
I feel like also the other cats would freak out as well.
No, yeah.
They'd
for
be
sure.
like,
They'd be
"What?"
I mean, even last night, Jack was like sick, sweating so bad, and I was literally half asleep, and I was like putting my hand on his like ribs to see if he was breathing. It's like, are you okay? And I freaked out for a second. I was like, wait,
Is he dead?
Is he dead? I can't feel him breathing.
Dude, I feel like I do that all the time. I just think everyone's dying.
Same. Like even when if someone calls me, I think they're dying. I'm like, this is
Yeah.
their last like call ever,
I'm like, oh,
and they're trying to get me to help or something.
stop.
And I'm like, I have to answer. I always answer calls
Yeah.
because I think that it's because they're dying.
Right. I'm like, it could be an emergency. And then it's just my friend being like, hey, girl, did you remember that one time when
I know,
you
and I'm
farted?
like, okay, I can't right now. Please,
Yeah.
goodbye.
I'm like, oh, I thought you were dying.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I don't like phone calls, so.
Same.
Jack's always calling me for no reason. It's like, okay.
Girl, that's crazy because he lives here.
I know, when he's at work, he'll call me like, what's up? I'm like, is there something you need to tell me or what?
Oh
girl.
Matt, don't even text me until he said, what's for dinner?
Always fucking what's for dinner.
Why is it
It's
not
always what's for dinner, not how's your day?
Yeah, and not here's what I got you for dinner.
Yeah. Or I got you dinner.
Yeah,
I got you
exactly.
flowers and dinner.
Okay. The next story. Am I the asshole for donating my roommate's Fairly heirloom to Goodwill? I've 22 female posted here about my roommate, 24 female before. She has always had issues contributing to the household, including buying things like toilet paper, dish soap, laundry detergent, etc. She also rarely does her dishes promptly or takes out the trash or other household chores and struggles to pay utilities on time. Sometimes I even have to hound her for the rent. I felt bad at first because clearly she wasn't equipped to live alone, but I quickly got frustrated and became short with her. We were friends at first, but not so much anymore after I've had to put up with her for this long. Our year-long lease ended and we've been living month to month since then. Eventually, she got a boyfriend. He lives with his parents, but that hasn't stopped her from spending most of her time at their house. I started seeing her less and less. A couple days into May, I hadn't seen her for maybe 2 weeks. I texted and called her to see when she was going to pay her share of the rent due on the 5th, but she basically ghosted me. I got in contact with her mom, and eventually my roommate reached out to say she's staying with her boyfriend's family for now and doesn't think she should be expected to pay rent for somewhere she's not staying. I kindly asked if that meant she would be moving out, but she didn't respond. I paid rent myself, which was a huge unexpected expense. After that, I decided I was done. I texted her over the course of May and June asking her to move her stuff out, but she didn't respond to me. Her mom kept promising me that her daughter would take care of it, but she never once got back to me. After July started, I recruited a couple friends to help me pack up the stuff in her room and donated most of it to Goodwill and the Salvation Army. I also asked the landlord to change the locks, which he did. The other evening, she finally shows up and is mad that the locks have been changed. I told her she's not living here and doesn't pay rent, so she has no reason to enter the apartment. She got even more upset and said that she was never moving out. She was just staying with him for the time being. She told me the situation didn't work out, so she planned to come back and live here again. I told her that she was already off the lease and it's my rental now. She started crying and said she had nowhere else to go, and I felt really bad. She asked if she could at least get some of her stuff. She needed some clean clothes and a shower. I told her that because she never told me she was coming back or made plans to move her stuff out, I donated everything that was in her room, unless it looked precious or expensive, and stored the rest in her closet. She completely freaked out and threatened to call the police on me. She was inconsolable. She cried about how I even donated her dead grandmother's wedding dress, which had been in a special box somewhere in her room. I apologized profusely because I did feel really bad about it. Really bad, but it all could have been avoided if she tried to communicate with me. Am I the asshole? Yeah, girl. You're not. Sorry.
Wait,
She's not. That's what I meant. Yeah. You're
like,
not.
I probably would have texted him and like, hey, I'm going to donate all your stuff if you don't come get it. But she didn't. She ghosted her for 2 weeks. What do you expect her to do? You're just going to use her as this. She has to pay all the rent, and then you're just going to use her place as a storage unit.
I know.
And be like actually rude by not responding or communicating anything. What do you expect?
Yeah.
You expect kindness when you're not giving it back?
That's crazy.
Like, you expect respect when you're not giving it?
That she probably should have said to the mom, like, hey, I packed all this up. You can come get it, or I'm donating it.
Mm-hmm. But that's what I would have done.
There is an edit that says I told her by July I would start getting rid of things if she didn't make plans to do it herself. Where I live, a unit is considered abandoned once they vacate and owe rent. The cost of items being donated will determine how long I need to store them before getting rid of them. I asked her to make arrangements for her things beginning in early May, which she ignored. I emphasized in June that I would be donating her things by July, which she also ignored. Additionally, her mother was aware the whole time and promised me her daughter would take care of it by June 30th. She did not.
Okay, that was a really important part to include.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing that I was like saying, okay, maybe you're a little bit because you didn't tell her, but no, absolutely not. She had multiple warnings and never responded. If you cared so much about your dead grandma's wedding dress, you should have thought about it when I was texting you multiple times throughout. She gave her like 3 months.
That's crazy.
I would give her like 1.
I had this girl.
Sorry, but as soon as you move out and I'm paying rent by myself, it's no longer, I don't care what any of the, like, I don't care where you live, where it's what it's considered abandoned once, whatever. Right. It's once someone moves out and isn't paying rent, it's considered you're not living there anymore. Wherever the fuck you are. I don't care what state you're in or what city you're in.
Well, there's like squatters' rights, and if she was on the lease.
Yeah, but
like,
it
sounds like this girl got a new lease, so she wasn't anymore, which is good.
But they were month to month, so like.
Right. We had this girl, sorry to talk about this because it is a sore subject because we are friends again now, but she was like living at our house in Orlando, and I love her so much now, but it was a bad time for probably all of us. And she had her like broken down car parked in the driveway. And, like, me and Danielle, like, couldn't park our cars because her car was taking up the whole fucking thing. So she, like, went to go stay with her boyfriend. And I was like, you need to get all of your shit out. Like, I'm going to throw it all away. Like, you need to get this out. You need to get your car out of here. I'm getting it towed. And she kept saying, like, oh, I'm going to get it towed. I'm going to get it towed. I'm going to move it and whatever. And she never did. And by the day that it was supposed to be moved, it wasn't moved. So I had fucking got it towed. I called the towing company. And she was pissed at me. Okay. And we took all her stuff in trash bags and put on the porch. Yeah. And locked the door.
I would do that too.
Thank you.
You don't like, that's so disrespectful to be like, I'm going to do it. And then you're never going to do it. And then I'm going to give you a time and a day. And if you're not doing it by then everything's gone. And like, you can figure it out from there. Like, what do you want me to keep giving you 200 chances?
And also, if anybody you're mad at should be yourself.
Yeah.
Like, because you're the one who didn't do anything. All this girl had to do was literally text her roommate back and be like, hey, actually, like, I'm so sorry. Can you just not throw my stuff away? Like, I'm coming back, or I plan to come back. Like, I'll pay the rent.
She didn't plan on coming back.
Well, she did, though.
But yeah, by the time she figured out that it didn't work out for her.
Yeah, true. But
because
it wasn't
it didn't work in her favor. So then she's all of a sudden coming back running, like, and then she left her fucked in the beginning saying, "Oh well, I'm not paying rent because I'm not living there." Okay, well if I'm paying rent, then you're goodbye.
Not her saying I need some clean clothes and a shower. What were you wearing?
Yeah, wait, what? What, did you not have any of your stuff when you were living with your boyfriend?
That's what's freaking me out. So she just went to her boyfriend's house and never came back?
Didn't get anything? Yeah, pretty much. She went ghost mode. That's crazy.
If that was my mom would have fucking went there and got all my stuff for me.
Yeah, my mom would have too.
I'm not saying it's the mom's fault, but the mom does not sound like she's it. My mom be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Let me get my daughter's shit out of your way.
Yeah, my mom would have too. Or my mom would have been like, hey, you really need to go do this. Like if you otherwise it's all going to be gone. Yeah. And hello?
Right.
Do you know
Are you stupid?
The way like stuff works or what?
I cannot. These people are so dumb, girl.
The top comment says, after reading OP's response, I see that she did indeed tell her roommate in a text that if she did not hear from her soon, she would start getting rid of her stuff. With that in mind, I really don't see what more could have been done here. Exactly how much is a person expected to do when the other party simply ghosts them? Really, it's not fair to continue rewarding such egregious behavior. OP had to pay her share of rent. For fuck's sake, where is the outrage about that? I'd be furious if I had to pay for someone else's rent. And then she just shows up and expects to be let back in. I wouldn't even have talked to her until she paid me back for her share of the rent. OP isn't running a charity house or a storage unit. It's rent. You signed a legal document. The roommate, in essence, told OP, the hell with your money. Well then, the hell with your belongings. That seems eminently fair to me. I don't bestow kindness on those who treat me like dirt, not the asshole.
Yeah.
Exactly.
She should have friggin' pawned some of this girl's stuff so she could
I know,
get
literally.
rent.
Like,
I thought that's what she was about to say.
that would have been crazy.
Yeah.
I would have been like, okay, well,
Yeah.
maybe you're a little bit of the asshole, but dude, that's so annoying. I wonder, wait, were they friends in the beginning or no? Did they just kind of move in together? It doesn't really say. She also didn't seem like a very good
We were
roommate.
friends at first, but not so much anymore after I've had to put up with her for this long.
She always had issues contributing to the household, including buying things. She also really does her dishes, struggles to pay utilities on time. Yeah.
Bye.
That seems like a blessing in disguise, but at the same time, it's not, because like I don't want to have to pay all the rent by myself when I'm not planning on paying all the rent by myself.
No. Same.
Ew, I'm so glad I don't have to live with roommates anymore. Because even though I had like a couple that I'm like still really good friends with, I've had so many that it ended in a fucking dumpster fire. Like, I feel like that is like the one thing that really creates so much drama if you live with a roommate you don't get along with.
It's so bad.
It's so bad.
It's the worst because you're just like gaslighting yourself and each other, and you're like don't know how to even live in your own home, and you just eat dinner on your bed every day.
Dude, one of my roommates too was like fucking screaming at me one day because I sold the couch, and like, no, I sold the couch because people were moving. They were moving out, and we all contributed to this couch an equal amount. And so I was like, okay, I'll sell it. Did I tell you this? I'll put the listing up on Facebook, and then I'll give everyone back what they paid for it.
Right.
But I put it up for a little bit more so then I could make a little bit more money.
Right.
Everyone got their share of what they paid for back.
Right.
I'm the one who put the listing up and who had to talk to these people on Facebook and had to organize everything. I should be able to keep the extra money.
How much extra money was
like
it?
$100.
Okay.
It was barely anything.
Right.
And then she got pissed because she comes home and while they're taking the couch and asks them how much. And then she's screaming at me saying, I need to pay everyone. And it was like $30 extra for each person. She fucking yelled at me at the top of her lungs. Like,
ew.
And I'm like, I'm the one who put the couch up for sale and had to organize everything.
Right.
You guys got your money back. What difference does it make?
Right.
You got all the money you paid back.
I agree. That shit is fucked.
And then she's going to yell at me, and then, like, no one else cared. They were like, okay, I guess. And then she's, like, threatening. She was, like, threatening me because I was leaving to go to Chicago for, like, the weekend. And she's like, you don't want to fuck with me. Like, saying she's going to, like, fuck all my shit up in my room. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I don't want to come back to like everything being destroyed, so I have to pay them an extra $30 each. Like, it wasn't like I made $2,000 on it.
Right.
It was like a $500 couch. It was used multiple times, different locations. Like, we got it from Facebook Marketplace in the beginning. It was so dumb.
People like that are so annoying. It's like, you don't want to do anything, but you want to benefit from me doing it for you.
I know, and I was so annoyed because I was like, okay, well, you know how annoying it is to sell something on Facebook Marketplace?
Oh, my God.
You have to talk to so many dumbass people on there. Like, people trying to scam you every 5 seconds, and then I'm blocking them. And then I'm like, okay, can you come pick it up this time? Oh, no, can you hold it for me? No, I'm not holding it for you. I'm selling the couch as soon as it can be sold, girl.
Literally.
Like, leave me alone.
Hold it for how long?
Yeah, unless you pay. Which these people actually paid me the full amount before they even came to get it because they wanted it so bad.
Oh my God.
They're like,
the hell kind of couch
amount.
was it?
It was a gray, ugly couch.
Ew.
A gray, like L-shaped couch. But I hate that girl. She was such a fucking bitch to me.
Ew.
Like, I can't believe her.
Is that one bitch?
What?
That, like, now you guys don't talk to? Is that the same one?
Who?
I don't know her name. I just remember that you told me about
another girl.
There's another roommate you guys don't like.
There was another roommate that told my ex that I cheated on him a bunch.
Ew! Why are girls like that?
I don't know. It was crazy. We were all at the same bar, and she like went up to him, and it was like months after she moved out. She went up to him saying like I had guys over all the time. I was cheating on him.
And I can't with
It was
either of
crazy.
them.
But
what the helly?
that's
Girl.
the end
That is it.
of that episode.
Love ya.
Love you so much.
Thanks for
Let
watching.
us know what you thought in the comments below. And I'll talk to you later.
See ya.
Bye.